For more on the impact of the latest U.S. actions, we're joined now by Zhang. He's Chief Correspondent for Shanghai Wenhui Daily here in Washington. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Now, President Trump's broad-ranging press conference targeted everything from the status of Hong Kong to Chinese graduate students. What struck you as being particularly significant?
I think most of the things he was talking about this afternoon were not that much surprising, from the sanction against Chinese officers in Hong Kong to to take away the special this tariff status of Hong Kong, but to terminate U.S. cooperation with WHO is more surprising to me, because that itself has been very much criticized by the United States, a lot of people here.
What do you think the reaction from Beijing would be to that announcement that they would be stopping its relationship with the WHO?
I think Beijing has been always telling the United States not to walk away from the WHO, because especially at the time of COVID-19, the international cooperation on this issue is very vital. By walking away from the WTO will make the United States to be more isolated by the international society. I think China will be thinking that even China still can work with other countries, but United States is a very important part of the cooperation. It will be very sad.
So you said that there were not very many things that were surprising. What was surprising? That we didn't hear very much about the US-China trade deal. What do you think that signals?
I think Trump is looking at this trade deal between US and China as one of his key achievements when it comes to trade issue. And he was very much happy when this deal was signed in January. And even now, he is trying to play a blame China card to try to win the election in November. He still believes that the trade deal between US and China is very much valuable to him. So I'm not at all surprised he didn't touch this issue.
You bring up the fact that this is, of course, an election year. So how much do you think what we heard was more campaign talk?
I think most of the issues he mentioned today are out of the common wisdom of many China experts in Washington. They believe most of the things should have not been announced by Trump, and those are basically because of his political interest to win the election. But obviously, it will bring U.S.-China relationship to a new low level. So I think people should look at this issue very seriously. Even we can say this is campaign rhetoric.
Okay, so I just want to go back to one of the key things he mentioned, Hong Kong, which enjoys a special trade relationship with the U.S. How will the status being revoked change things? I mean, what kind of impact will we see on business between the two?
I think it will basically impact U.S.-Hong Kong relationship, especially U.S. economic and trade interest in Hong Kong. I believe Hong Kong will remain as a very strong financial hub in the international market. I think Hong Kong's their strength is based on their own rule of law and their special, very unique financial system. But the U.S.-Hong Kong economic and trade relationship will be attacked, obviously, because Hong Kong is a very important place for U.S. companies running in Asian Pacific market. There are about 85,000 Americans working over there, 1,300 U.S. firms running over there, and a lot of U.S. big banks are running over there. So this will bring a lot of setback to U.S. trade interest in Hong Kong. And obviously, Hong Kong will have some difficulties to deal with this issue. But over the time, I think with the strong back from mainland China, I think Hong Kong will overcome this difficulty.
Zhang, there appears to be a growing divide between the US and China on a whole range of issues. Where do you see the tide turning? I mean, what areas can help to bridge this gap?
I can't see any big chance in the coming future because of the, you can see the COVID-19 situation in America is still very bad, and US economy is very bad. And I think the more President Trump attacks China, the more it looks to me that he's going to face a very tough fight against Mr. Joe Biden. And I think people will have to wait until November, the election, to see where there's a chance for US and China to return back to normalcy when it comes to their relationship.
I mean, it sounds really quite bleak, right, Zhang? Because areas such as cultural exchange, educational exchange has always been a really bright spot in that relationship, but even that now seems to be threatened.
Yes, I think Trump's government is already talking about to revoke a lot of visas for Chinese graduate students with Chinese military school background. And as I heard, about 10% of Chinese students studying here in America are having this visa trouble. And so that will damage Chinese students' confidence in the future to come to study in America. That's a very important field between US and China's cultural relationship, education relationship. I think this is also very depressing.